All right, guys, what is up? It is Thursday afternoon, October 3rd. This is not a video that we wanted to make, especially after the video that Nick had to make last year, but we made the decision this week for Nick to be not competing in this year's Olympia.
What's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. I've got a couple of interesting stories for you guys today. Let's start with the bad news first. We've got two big-name bodybuilders that are now officially out of the 2024 Olympia. We'll start with Behrouz Tabani. Milo Sarcev put out a statement today saying he's devastated to report that for the third year in a row, Behrouz Tabani was not granted his U.S. visa, and he'll miss competing once again at the most prestigious bodybuilding event in the year. So it is really devastating that Behrouz has qualified, won shows 3 years in a row, and he's not able to get to the Olympia. I think he definitely belongs on that stage. You look at this update, and you have to imagine he would have been top 10 at the Olympia this year. He looks fantastic. He looked fantastic in Dubai, probably one of the biggest shows of the year outside of like the Arnold Classic or the New York Pro. That Dubai show was big. It was competitive. It had some really top guys in there, and Behrouz won that show. So it does suck that he's not going to be there. And Milos also says the date of his original interview was November 23rd, 2021. And so this has been a multi-year process after the interview, whatever these administrative things are that are preventing him from getting there. And man, I think we should all be very thankful that Hadi Chupin was able to get his visa again, and he's already been in the States for a couple weeks now, because Hadi's from the same country as Behrouz, and I can see it getting more difficult for really anybody from Iran to get a visa to the U.S. I think if Hadi had waited a couple weeks, there could be a good chance we didn't see Hadi at the Olympia as well, but very unfortunate. I hope that we eventually, someday, get to see Behrouz on that Olympia stage. I think he is one of the best bodybuilders on the planet, and he's proven that 3 years in a row. But now, next up, this is probably the big story of the day, maybe even of this week, probably the biggest story. Nick Walker dropping out voluntarily of the 2024 Mr. Olympia. Now, they posted a video, him and his coach, Matt Jansen. It's about 10 minutes long. Essentially what they say in that video is that Nick's body just isn't responding. They know that it's not where it needs to be to place where Nick wants to place. And they say essentially that Nick's body looks tired. So they both speak in this video, and they both kind of say the same thing. They don't want to present a physique on the Olympia stage that is not up to par with what people are used to seeing from Nick, and not up to par with the other competitors. And obviously, this is now the second year in a row Nick has missed the Olympia, despite the fact that he qualified. So last year, obviously, was the issue with his hamstring. This year, voluntarily not competing. And I have kind of mixed feelings about this. Obviously, I do want to see Nick compete, but I like that he doesn't want to present a subpar physique. But I also feel like they're leaving something out here. Because they say, yeah, his body's not really responding the way it did last time. He looks like he's tired. Matt says something about how Nick is used to chaos, and how for this prep he's kind of tamed down a lot of that chaos that's in his life. So maybe that's the reason his body's not looking the same. To me, I feel like they kind of glossed over maybe the why of why his body looks tired, why it's not responding. And that's what I'm concerned about here, is if it is health related. Because I know there's a lot of bodybuilders that experience health issues and never talk about them publicly. And sure, a health issue is a private thing. And I'm not saying that Nick has one. And there's really no obligation to tell anybody or everybody what's going on with his health. But I do think there's like a certain level of responsibility if a bodybuilder is having a serious health issue that is maybe causing their physique to not look up to snuff. I feel like there is a certain level of responsibility to tell people like, look, it's happening to me. Here's one of those dangerous side effects. Here's one of those risks. Bodybuilding is not all sunshine and rainbows. This is what could happen. And of course, I don't know what's going on with Nick. I don't know why his body's not responding. I don't know why he doesn't look like he did in his last prep. But to me, I watched that whole video 2, 3, 4 times, and it felt like they were leaving something out. It felt like they didn't really give a reason why these things are happening. I mean, they made it clear that their reason why is they don't want to present a subpar version of Nick. They want to protect Nick's brand, but they didn't say why Nick's physique is subpar. Why is this prep going so much differently? Why is his body not responding the same? What's going on? They didn't really answer that part of it. And it kind of makes me wonder if there is something going on with Nick's health. Because it certainly doesn't seem like this was a very quick, overnight decision. I've noticed for the last however many weeks, 3, 4 weeks, Nick really hasn't been posting any physique updates where he shows anything substantial other than really his legs for like the past 3 or 4 weeks. And that's not typical Nick. Typically for a prep for a big show, Nick is the guy that's posting like full physique updates like on a daily basis going straight into the show. And now we're 1 week out. And like I said, the past 3, 4, 5 weeks, Nick hasn't really posted much. So I think something has been going on with his body for maybe the past 3, 4, or 5 weeks, however long he hasn't been posting these updates. And maybe that's why he wasn't posting. So I feel like whatever turmoil his body's in right now wasn't something that just happened today. I think it's something that's been happening. And probably something they've been noticing for weeks, hence the lack of pictures. But like I said, I'm glad to see Nick seeming to listen to his body. I want to see Nick healthy. I want to see Nick at his best. And so this seems like it certainly is a step in that direction. That's what he's doing. But I do kind of hope that if there is a health issue, if that's the reason why, I hope that he talks about that eventually. Because I do really think it's important for bodybuilders to share stuff like that with their fans, because these are the risks. And Nick has kind of that connection with his fans. He's got his podcast. He's one of the guys that's very active on social media. I feel like his fans kind of deserve it if there is something going on with his health to say that. It just feels odd to me, frankly, to pull out of the Olympia just because you don't think you're looking good. I think there's got to be another piece to it as to why he's not looking good. Now, the final story that I've got for you guys today, another physique update from Rafael Brandao at about a week out now. He looks insane. I can't say enough how impressed I am with Rafael Brandao, how much bigger he looks, the size he put on, the improvements he made. In this video in particular, that most muscular, I mean, he's the real deal, man. He's big, he's full as a house, his legs are clearly way improved. He's in good condition. This is by far the best I've ever seen Rafael look. And considering everything that we've learned here, even today, 2 more guys out of the men's open lineup, Nick Walker, I think without a doubt, well, maybe not based on how he's saying he looked, but I think Nick Walker was in most people's top 6 for this year. And I think now knowing that Nick Walker is out, I really think Rafael is going to be in here in this conversation. He looks phenomenal. And if he comes in with good condition, he looks better than he looked at the Arnold, I think he's going to be very dangerous. I don't really think the top 3 is going to change. I still think it's going to include Samson, Hadi, and Derek. Actually, for this conversation, let's go ahead and look at the current qualified competitor list here just to get an idea. So Derek, Hadi, Samson, obviously all qualified. Theo LaGuerrier, Rafael, Martin Fitzwater, Nick Walker we know is out. Tonio Burton we know is out. Akeem Williams, Brandon Curry, William Bonac, Behrouz Tabani we know is out. Nathan Diasha we know is out. John Jewett, Muhammad Fuda, John De La Rosa, Andrew Jacked, Bruno Santos. So if you're looking at that top 6, I think most people probably have Derek, Hadi, and Samson in their top 3 in some order or another. And then if you're looking at 4, 5, and 6, who are we looking at? Probably Brandon, probably Andrew Jacked. I really think Rafael could squeeze in there. And Martin Fitzwater as well, maybe. Actually, let's look at this video next of Martin Fitzwater. This video was from Rep 1 on their YouTube channel, and this was posted on Thursday the 3rd, a full posing update of Martin. So Martin is posing for his coach here, Stefan, boss of Outlaw. We've talked a lot about Stefan this year. He's had a really good year. Wesley Vissers being one of his standouts, but Martin as well. And I think Martin is interesting to talk about here too, because a lot of the conversation with Martin comes from the New York Pro. Even though Martin won the Detroit Pro to qualify, the New York Pro against Nick Walker was where he really generated a lot of conversation because he stood really well with Nick and placed right behind him and pushed Nick at that show. And I think a lot of people are wanting to kind of see that rematch and see them compared again at the Olympia. So without Nick in there, I think Martin moves up a bit, and I think he's going to compare favorably with, like, I think a call out of like Brandon, Rafael, Hunter Labrada, Martin in there. I think he probably will be somewhere in that like 4 to 7-ish range. But based on what I'm seeing from Rafael, I think he's going to be maybe the surprise of the show that cracks the top 6. I'm thinking, like I said, in the top 3, still going to be Hadi, Derek, and Samson. Not in that order necessarily. And I think 4, 5, 6 will probably be Andrew Jacked. It's hard to say Brandon won't be in there because he was 4th last year. So I think Brandon will probably still make the top 6. And I think I'd throw Rafael in there. So Andrew, Brandon, Rafael, the other half of that top 6. And then maybe right there, knocking on that door, Hunter, Martin, maybe Bonac. But we'll see. Let me know your Olympia predictions in the comments down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell, notification icon, all that good stuff. And as always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at NickStrengthPower. My Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power. My secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.